I thought it was something that was always needed. I think Manhattan Beach is special.
Yeah, it is.
And I think a lot of players, respect the history of that tournament. So I think that's up there. Like you said, they always say, up there with Wimbledon.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see like more events. Maybe even a series of events.
Carry
like,
weight.
like when we used to do the Gold Series and stuff like that. I was like, oh, this has the potential to get up to like, the majors, if you will. But I hope that does come to fruition.
Yeah. I mean, Manhattan, Chicago right now, I guess, would be it.
Yeah.
What do we have? We had Huntington.
I mean, anytime you win in Southern California, it's always
SoCal
big deal.
wins big. If you can get the for me a SoCal Triple Crown is Huntington, Hermosa, Manhattan.
Yeah. I mean, to me, like, quite honestly, any one of those tournaments is amazing to win. And I'm sure, like, as a player, you guys, feel, really proud of all the effort you put into it. Because that's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Doing, like, all those matches and running around the sand and just, like, the grind to get to that top that's tough, bro. Yeah, respect.
I mean, even being a photographer out there, you guys are. How many times do you laying on the ground, get up, over
get
here,
down.
gotta go over there, gotta be in that perfect spot.
You guys are out there all day.
Oh, dude.
We didn't even properly introduce you. For those of the
just
fans
rolled
that
into
don't
it.
know,
Let's take a step back.
we just got really excited about surfing and your new venture.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention the 2 decades or however long you've been doing photography. How long? So Mpu does photography. He's done it for the AVP for a long time, but a lot of other sports as well.
Yeah.
When did you get started with it?
Officially, I've shot, taking pictures all my life. In 2011 is probably when I wanted to start getting more serious about it.
Okay.
And so I would take my camera everywhere I could possibly go.
We both went pro at the same time.
There we go, dude. I remember your first events, dude. But like, I just wanted to like pursue it on a different level. And so I would take my camera everywhere I went, and it just so happened I was shooting some friends surfing just on the north side of Huntington Beach.
And do you surf yourself?
I did. It wasn't any good. And then, photography took me out of the water, so I just didn't have time. But we ventured down to the south side of Huntington Beach at the pier, and like I remember one of the first memories I saw, like right when we got there, was Kelly Slater in the water, and I was just like, oh my god, that's Kelly Slater, and it was like blown away. And then the waves were pumping that day too, and it was just really cool. And then I turn and I look and I see this photographer. I remember him, black curly hair, Michael Lalande, who was shooting for the U.S. Open of Surfing. IMG ran the event. And so that next year, or that year, I was like, I want to be that guy. And that next year I reached out to IMG, or I didn't know it was IMG at the time. I just hit up the U.S. Open website. And I was like, hey, I'm going to be there again watching the event, and I'm going to take pictures. You guys need someone to take some pictures for you. And I was just like, dude, no one's going to hit me back. No one's going to hit me back. 2 weeks later, I was, stressing. Someone hit me back. And they were like, do you have a website or portfolio or a link to your images? And I was like, I don't have anything. Or I did have a Smug Mug account.
Yeah,
we talked about that. And so I sent that link of some surfing photos, and they said, like, how much time can you commit? And I was a business analyst at the time in a suit working for Capital Group companies.
No way.
Downtown LA.
I can't picture that.
Oh, dude, way different life. Yeah. And
you put the suit back on for Julian and all your athletes.
Oh yeah. I still wear shorts, man. I don't know. I can't live that life. Leave that lifestyle now. But I took pretty much all my vacation and shot the U.S. Open that year for a week and a half, and I wouldn't say I killed it, but I did well enough for them to say, hey, do you want to come check out this beach volleyball event? And it was the Jose Cuervo in 2012, right after the Olympics.
Which one was that?
I started on Huntington or
Cuervo
Manhattan
tour.
Beach. It was in 2012.
Yeah.
It was the last two.
I remember Huntington happening.
Yeah, I think Huntington was the last one, right? Or was it Manhattan Beach? I think Manhattan Beach was
maybe
the
Manhattan.
first.
Yeah. I don't know.
But the first one I went to was, come check it out kind of thing. So I didn't get paid for it, but they ended up using quite a majority of my photos. And so they said, we want to hire you for the next one. So they hired me for the next one. The rest was kind of history.
So that was
That's
IMG.
awesome.
Yeah. IMG ran those events. And then they hired me in 2013. Manhattan Beach was the second stop on that year. And that's when IMG hired me. So I shot for them, and Donald had taken over that first one. I think
That's the one we had without a stadium.
Yeah, I think
That
so.
Casey
I think it was
and
a
Ferbs
throwback
one?
year. Yeah.
Throwback.
And
Those videos are epic. Man, Casey was on one.
oh,
Put
dude,
lights out.
him
Yeah,
and
he did.
was it Furbinger that one that year?
Furbinger.
Yeah, that was a crazy one. And then Carrie won too, right?
I think so. I mean,
They both won.
If she was
I
on the
remember
court, then
it was
probably.
either that year or another year. Yeah, exactly. It was either that year or another year where they both won. I was like, oh, that's so dope that a husband and wife.
Yeah, totally.
We're gonna have to go back into history, and it's all blurry now. But freaking after that event, that's when Donald and Al reached out and said, hey, can you come out to Cincinnati? And oh my gosh, lucky enough, because I was out of vacation at the time. I was shooting other events and stuff like that. And I was photography was definitely taking over. I wouldn't say my life, but it was taking over my work life.
Right.
And out of vacation, luckily my second son Aaron was born 2 weeks early. So he was born right before Manhattan Beach, and I was on paternity leave, and so I was able to go to Cincinnati, and shoot that.
Proper paternity
After that
leave.
one, did well enough for Donald to be like, and maybe I was cool enough because we had a scotch one night, I remember, and he was like, hey, we want you to shoot the tour, and so. The rest was kind of history, man. I remember right after he told me that too, one other cool event or fact, and this is a shout out to April, and I've told her too about this and she remembers it. But right after Donald, had that discussion, there was a couple players on the court still, just having some beers and talking. April was one of them. I can't remember who else was there. And I went down and I was just like, hey man, my name's Mpu. I'm gonna be shooting your tour. And April was like, crack, here, have a beer. And I'm like, yeah. Then the rest was history, I guess, after that.
Yeah. Then you're in.
Yeah. So that was a cool shout out to April. She's always been one of the coolest people to work with.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the goats in the sport. Always appreciate time spent with her.
Mm-hmm.